Hey guys, welcome back to my parents' kitchen. Today we are making a staple of fast food recipes. We are making chicken tenders. In other words, we're making chicken tendies. There's a myriad of ways to make this recipe, but today I will be showing you my version of it. And with that being said, let's go. So here's all the ingredients we need to have for our chicken tenders. Today's recipe is a 3-star level difficulty only because you have to use a fryer, which can be daunting if it's your first time using a fryer. With that being said, let's look at our ingredients one by one. For our tendies, we have two main sections, our wet batter and our dry batter. For our wet batter, we need flour, 100 grams of water, 200 milliliters, and 1 egg yolk. We'll separate the egg yolk from the egg white later. And for our dry batter, we have 200 grams of flour, 100 grams of cornstarch, and dried minced onion and garlic, 5 to 8 grams. If you want to make more chicken tenders, just know that it's 2 volumes of flour per 1 volume of cornstarch. For a little punch of flavor and spice, we will be adding isu to our dry mixture and isu to our marinade. So we will be marinating our chicken in buttermilk and isu. If you do not have buttermilk, I will show you how to make some later. And because it is my supper, I will be making a full meal, so I will be serving them with French fries. Right, I know what you're saying, it's not a very healthy meal, but I'll run a couple more laps around the block and everything should be good. And of course, our eternal classic spicy mayonnaise. We will need Dijon mustard, vegetable oil, an egg, and sriracha sauce. Now let's yeet everything out of the way and start with our chicken. Grab our chicken, put it on the table. There's a fillet on the bottom, reserve. Flip it back over, and now let's cut into tenders. The size of your tenders are up to you. I like mine pretty big. Reserve. We'll remove some of the fat. Our recipe's already fatty enough. There's no fillet. One last one. Slice. And now I'll go clean up my knife, my board, and my plate. To marinate our chicken, we will need buttermilk. A lot of people do not have actual buttermilk or don't cook enough to justify buying buttermilk. Here's a second option. Grab about 250 milliliters of milk, 1 shot of white vinegar, half a lemon, crush it like the skull of your enemies, mix it together, and wait about 15 minutes. And there we have it, homemade buttermilk. I do have buttermilk, so I'll be using my buttermilk today, and this will be for another recipe tonight. Chicken on the table with our buttermilk. We want to pour about here. For a kick of spice, isu. To make it, go check out my dad's video, Ipis Isu. Up to you how much you want to put. If you want extra spice, put a lot. With clean hands, we'll mix it all in. Make sure every piece is evenly coated. And now I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for about an hour. Now let's unheat all the ingredients for the mayonnaise. Grab our bowl, grab our egg, grab our sriracha, 1 spoon of mustard, a bit of salt, a bit of pepper, grab our hand mixer, pre-blend, and now oil. And we're done. Up and down, we're turning around, and we are good to go. Machine can go back to the sink. And now let's look at the consistency of our dip. You may have saw that I put more oil than my bacon burger. Well, right now we're making a dip and not a mayonnaise. The consistency is a bit more liquidy, perfect for our tenders and our fries. And now I'm gonna go wash up and let's move on to the fun part. I have about 3 liters of peanut oil. I'm using peanut oil because I feel like it gives a better taste to the end product. I'll be heating it up to about 170 degrees Celsius. For Fahrenheit, it's on the screen as always. And now wait for it to heat up and let's move on to our chicken. So now 2 stations, dry and wet ingredients. For our wet batter, we need our flour, water, an egg. We'll separate our yolk. There's not enough cholesterol in this recipe as it is. We'll add our yolk in with our flour. For more spice, a little bit of isu. We'll start whisking together. And now we will add water until we have a nice thick consistency. Bring in the sides. Don't mix too fast or else you'll make a huge mess. And we'll mix until combined. Too thick for my liking. A bit more water. Scrape the bottom. Bring in the sides. Tourne et retourne. And now we're almost ready for a shake and bake. But for now, shake and sink. I'll reserve my wet mixture and my egg white will be for an omelet later. We have our wet, now our dry. Flour, cornstarch, garlic, and onion. We'll put our cornstarch with our flour, granulated dried onion and garlic on top. The whisk came back clean and let's just mix it all in. And we'll go clean up again. Now let's bring out our little tendies from the fridge. We'll reorganize our table, and now let's get to work. We'll grab our tender, remove some of the excess buttermilk, in our flour, tourne et retourne, then into our batter, flip it over, remove any excess, back in the flour, shake and plate. In the flour, grab it, in your wet liquid, back in the flour, cover and reserve. And let's continue. Dunk our chicken. You can do a couple at a time if you're more comfortable. As always, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. In our batter, back in our flour, and reserve. Shake and coat. I can't wait for this video to end. I'm gonna be able to eat this recipe editing this video. Okay, I'm gonna reserve this for now. I'm gonna clean my hands and we'll wait for oil to heat up and we'll move on to our second batch. And now let's cook our chicken tendies. My oil's at 175 degrees Celsius. We will work one piece at a time. Drop it, let it cook just a bit, and slowly insert. Don't put them too close together. Slowly tourne et retourne, and we'll add more of them in. And there we go. Our first batch is ready. Our oil is still pretty hot at 175. Do a small tourne et retourne. We're looking for a nice golden brown. We're not quite there yet. Depending on the size of your chicken tenders, it can take between 5 to 7 minutes to get this all done. Mine are quite big, so I would say about 5 to 6 minutes. Now we will turn them regularly, and we want to wait for that nice, beautiful golden crispiness. As you can hear, my inner fat kid is coming out of me. I absolutely love this recipe. We're getting to that crispiness, getting that color. We look like me in wintertime right now, looking for that Donald Trump look. A nice fake orange tan look, a bit like Donald Trump. After about 5-6 minutes, we'll get our tendies and we'll reserve them for later. One last one. Scoop it out. And my oven was put on to 50 degrees Fahrenheit just to keep them nice and toasty warm until we serve all of our food together. Tenders in the oven. Now let's move on to our next batch. And now our second batch. The power of editing, I'll see you guys once it's done. But we'll do the first one together. Shake any off. In our batter. Flippy flip. Back in the flour. Pull it out and reserve. Our second batch is done. Now I'm gonna wash my hands and wash all of these bowls up. And I'll see you guys on the stove. My oil is back up to 170, 180 degrees Celsius. Same as before, let's drop our chicken tendies. Wait just a bit and it'll float to the surface. Always like before, put them opposite directions so they don't stick together. One last big boy and drop. Spin them around, and like before, we have to wait about 5 to 7 minutes for them to have a nice tan color. My chicken tenders are starting to get a nice color. I'll bring the bowl out of my oven. It shouldn't be too hot. Perfect. We'll put an extra layer of paper towel on top, and we will remove our tenders. And now back in the oven, and we'll do our fries. And now moving on to our fries, which were already pre-cooked, poached. We will now just need to cook them one more time for a couple seconds to get them very crispy. My oil is at 180 degrees Celsius. We will slowly but surely put our fries in. Make sure not to splash yourself with any oil. Make sure our oil did not drop below 180 degrees Celsius. 2 more, and we're done. And we'll wait about 45 seconds to 1 minute. And now let's go pick everyone out. We got everyone. Perfect. Now we'll close the heat and we're ready to serve. And now the star of our main event, our chicken. As you can hear, nice and crispy. Let's investigate what we have. We'll grab one random tender, extra crispy on both sides. Grab another one. Cut our tender in 2, cooked but still juicy. There's a nice layer of batter around our chicken, nice and generous. We'll grab another piece. This one's a bit thicker. Same thing, nice, generous, perfect. Now let's serve. Plate tenders, throw them on our plate. It's for me, my mom, my dad, and my cameraman, and we'll stack them. Of course, we'll need our dip right here. And there we have it, our beautiful chicken tenders, nice and crispy, our French fries, and a beautiful dip. Alright, there we have it. Let's go to eat with my parents. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, bye.